Carolyn here. Today we're doing a super exciting video. Not my matcha being on screen. Let me just, you know what? It's actually kind of cute because it matches the binder so it can stay on screen. So today we are going to be doing a little binder spring cleaning, I guess you could say. I am actually on my way to NCT Dream at the time that you're seeing this video. I was thinking about it's tomorrow for filming, Carolyn, and I was thinking about everything I wanted to do today. I was making a list yesterday and I was like, this is everything I need to do before I go see NCT Dream on Sunday, because I am literally driving to Atlanta, seeing the show, and then waking up at like 4 a.m. to leave to make it back for work the next morning. I took like 2 hours off on Monday morning because I couldn't take the whole day off. So I was like, just give me like 2 hours off. So my job did that. So I have to make it back by like 9 a.m. So that's fun. But anyways, today I was thinking about everything I need to do. And I was like, you know what I really have been wanting to do for so long? It's just like go through my binders and clean them. I feel like I talk about it all the time. Like last night I was thinking about it. But I had a bunch of trades and sales to package, so I ended up doing that instead, and then I was like exhausted, so I went to bed. And I just feel like that happens to me all the time. And I was like, you know what if we hung out today and cleaned our binders, because spring is sprung, it's here, we're all cleaning, and I feel like it would be fun. So just to make this video like not super boring, or in case I run out of things to talk about, I did ask you guys on Instagram to send me some questions. So I have all of the questions. I'm going to be looking at my iPad and then also using my iPad for templates. Some things that we'll be doing today will include setting up for new comebacks, kind of filling in places where I've just like been like, oh, I'll just come back to this later, and I've never come back to it, as far as like expanding collections and putting like fillers in there, things like that. Just like going through my binders and really like making them look nice, because that is one of my goals for 2023, is to just have like really nice binders that I'm really proud of, because I'm really proud of the photo cards in these binders, but I don't feel like I showcase all of them in the best way that I possibly could currently. So it's been a really big goal of mine this year to do that. Yes, I'm going to be answering some of your questions. It's been a long time since I've done like a Q&A or anything, so I thought that would be fun. Maybe I'll do like a proper Q&A when I hit 60K. So yeah, go ahead and hit subscribe if you want like a real Q&A. But yeah, today we're just going to be answering some questions. So I asked you guys to ask me questions about like collecting, or really honestly anything. So yeah, I've got all of your answers here and we're going to be going through them. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do today is go through my twice binder, because I just feel like it could be better. Should I keep the matcha on screen? I think we're gonna have to move the matcha slightly off screen. But yeah, so we're gonna go through my twice binder today, and let's just see what there is to see. The major thing I was thinking about, it's a little later, I realized the other day that I still don't have the Signal Pink card. I don't remember where I was supposed to be getting it from. Ideally, I'm filming a Shop With Me for Photocards video this evening as well. So maybe I will try to find that photo card. But yeah, I'm still missing that Geo card. So yeah, let me see here. But the main thing I was thinking about is this section. So I've really been wanting to make like a template of the Twice cards I'm missing. I decided, because you know some Twice albums have like more than 9 photo cards per member, and so some people do like an OT9 set and some people like do whatever. I decided to take all those extra cards, or like chose some of my favorite sets and decided to, or sets that I thought would look really nice together, and decided to collect my top 3 for them. So I have not actually like set up for this at all. I just like leave this here. So yeah. So this is, I was gonna like make a template last night, but maybe I'll try to do that like over the next couple days. Like it's probably not gonna be today. I have so many of these, so we're gonna use some of these today and set up for Sana and Taehyun, just so that I'm a little more motivated to actually work on these sets. I feel like it's one of those things that I always kind of put off. But yeah, if you have any of the equivalents of Sana and Taehyun for these sets, I am collecting them. I just like, I don't know why I've been so lazy about it. I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna do, should we do like, I feel like the white bear is gonna look a little weird against the white sleeves. So maybe we'll do like these two bears. Let me move this out of the way and let me choose a question. Oh, this is a good question. Somebody asked me, what are some of the biggest differences in collecting photo cards now compared to when you started? So if you don't know, I've been collecting photo cards for like a really long time, like a really, really long time. I'm gonna be using this pen that I normally use for like my chemistry labs because I really like this pen, but it came with like the chemistry lab kit that I had to buy for this semester, so this is what we're using today. I started collecting photo cards when photo cards became a thing in K-pop. Like that's how long I've been collecting. I used to be a much more casual collector because back then it was like, I don't know, like SM groups and YG groups were the only ones doing like photo cards. And I collected, I collected Big Bang, and I collected like Girls' Generation and Super Junior and Shiny. But photo cards like weren't a super big thing back then. And it was one of those things that like the trading community was non-existent. Like it was really small. Like I had a couple of friends and mutuals I would trade with, but I was also like a teenager at the time and living with my parents, obviously. And so the concept of like getting mail from like strangers on the internet was something that was, you know, I grew up, I'm a 90s kid, so I grew up in the generation where our parents were like, if you give out your address online, like somebody's gonna come and kidnap you, and like you shouldn't talk to strangers on the internet. And like obviously I did talk to strangers on the internet all the time because I started like doing YouTube and started collecting. And obviously like I had a couple of friends at my high school who were like K-pop fans and had like gotten me into K-pop. And it wasn't like a super like global thing. Like everybody I knew who liked K-pop or listened to K-pop was Korean and had grown up with it. So it was like I was the odd one out there as far as like I was super new to it. And so none of my friends, like in real life friends, really cared about photo card collecting. One of my friends at the time, his ultimate group was 2AM, which is like a ballad group. They never really had like photo cards or anything. My other friend, his ultimate group was Girls' Generation, and I don't know if he still likes Girls' Generation. I don't know if either of them still like listen to K-pop like seriously, but yeah, so obviously they were out. And also there was no Target, there was no, I bought from like Yes Asia, which Yes Asia still exists and I just don't use them anymore because I just use so many other places. So I definitely was more of a casual collector. Like even when Monsta X debuted in 2015, I think that was the first time that I like super cared about photo cards. Like I had been collecting other groups prior to that, but the first time I cared about like anything that wasn't an album card was with Monsta X. Well, was it? I think so. Well, yeah, because I ulted Infinite before I ulted Monsta X. And so I would say like my biggest collection probably at that time where I collected like photo cards the most thoroughly was probably Infinite. But I mean Pops weren't a thing really. There were a couple of like Japanese exclusive cards that I tried to get, but again there really wasn't a large community. There wasn't really like, I mean there was Macari Japan, but it wasn't super accessible for me. It just was a very, very different place compared to right now. We used to email each other trading proof. We used to email each other like through email and not like message each other on Instagram or whatever. I had a Tumblr for a while. I was a Tumblr girly for a while, and I used to find trades through Tumblr, which I guess would be like similar to how you do it through Twitter, but once I started Trade Sale Instagram, it was very different. But yeah, I definitely think that like the first time I really cared about extra cards was with Monsta X, like DVD and fan sign cards and things like that. Because I've been collecting Wano since the beginning, and when Monsta X debuted, I was like, I really want to like be caught up with all of his cards and like have everything for him. And obviously like along the way we've lost a couple of cards. Like we have, and I mean that like we missed a couple of like purchase periods and things. Like there are some older Monstex things I don't own and would like to own someday, but yeah, maybe once they all get in their like military era a little more, because I think there's gonna be a comeback with Shonu, but like more after that, like when Hyungwon and Kihyun go, I think I might try to work on that a little more. I really want to be all caught up with Wano before he comes back from the military. I've been showcasing my Photocard collection for a long time, and there definitely was a period of time where I like got out of Photocard collecting and my collections were super messy, and I got back into it a few years ago. It's probably been like 3 or 4 years at this point, and I don't know, I really like it still. I think the reason I got, because somebody asked me also about like, how do you prevent yourself from burning out? I know I seem like super impulsive, and like I am a super impulsive person. I'm a very like trust your gut kind of person. And like it'll all work out, like just trust your gut and it's all gonna work out kind of person, which is both a great and a bad thing, because some of the best things I've ever done for myself have been like impulse decisions. I don't know how this is gonna work out, but like let's do it kind of thing. Yeah, and so whenever I have like super impulsive decisions, I really try to like listen to myself and be like, okay, is this a good idea? But I used to collect everything for everybody, and like Kpop was very different. We had like maybe 1/8 of the groups that we have now that were active. Everybody knew everything. Like I listened to everything that came out, and I knew every group. Even if I didn't know all the members' names, like I knew about the group, like where they were from and what company they were from. And like maybe if I didn't know every member, I knew like 1 or 2 members' names. And I just definitely don't feel like that's the same anymore. I used to collect everything for everybody. And it just became a lot. And so I think when I got back into Photocard collecting, I really looked at my collections and was like, this is what I want to collect. And I've done it a couple times where I've like downsized collections and been like, this isn't giving me joy anymore. There's really no reason for me to continue this collection if it's not giving me joy, right? Yeah, it doesn't mean that I hate the group. I was watching a video recently of somebody saying like that some fandoms can really affect how like your trading experiences are and like the trading community. And I definitely agree with that. I definitely think that there are some trading communities that are more prone to scammers than others. And that just makes it not fun for me, because I don't want to be like super worried about running into scammers and everything like that. And like for my alt groups, I really do try to do like as much with my friends and as much like just by buying multiple albums for pods and stuff, just so that I can avoid that. Not that I've ever had any scammer issues with Stray Kids or Monstex. I don't think so. But somebody asked, how much do you budget for your alt comebacks? I thought this was a really interesting question, because I don't think I really let on to like how I prepare for comebacks, because it's just like, you know, like it's money, and I feel like money can be like a really touchy subject, and everybody thinks that K-pop collectors are like all super rich and we're all like millionaires, and like that's literally not true. And I used to not be super good about budgeting, but it is something that I think about, and it's hard because sometimes things come out of nowhere. Like you're like, oh, this group isn't gonna make a comeback for another 2 months, and then they announced a comeback, and you're like, oh, okay. But one thing that I do, and I don't know if this is gonna be like controversial or people are gonna think this is like weird or whatever, but when I get paid at work, right? It's obvious that I get paid from YouTube as well, but I get paid more from my 9 to 5. So when I get paid from my 9 to 5, when I started working there back in August, I was listening to this audiobook on a plane one day. You should set up your paycheck so that it goes into multiple accounts. And I was like, that is so smart, because I've been moving things into accounts. The way that I like prepare for comebacks and set aside for comebacks is I have a separate like savings account for comebacks, and then I have a savings account for tuition payments, and then I have like my normal checking account, which is like I pay off my credit card bills and do all of that and pay my rent and whatever. All the normal like boring adult things we have to spend money on, right? So when I get paid, I can look at my pay statement, obviously from work, and I have 3 separate accounts, and I have a certain percentage that goes into each account. The comeback and traveling savings account, it is the smallest account, because I like to put the majority of my money towards like my tuition and everything like that. So, and like bills and whatever. So obviously I'm not putting like 60% of my paycheck to Kpop. Like, I don't want you guys to think that. Some money towards it every single paycheck. So I just kind of keep that. And when a comeback gets announced or concert gets announced, normally when a concert gets announced, there's like no time to prepare for tickets, right? Like, tickets are always happening. And so, like, I try to have money ready for it, but sometimes I don't. I mean, sometimes I just like pay it off with my next paycheck and just like, you know, put it on my credit card for the time being. That's what credit cards are for, right? So, as far as how much I set aside for my alts comebacks, it depends, okay? So the top 4 groups I collect, top 5 groups, let's do top 5 groups, are Monsta X / Wano, which I budget differently for Monsta X and Wano, and I'll talk about that. Stray Kids, IVE, Twice, and 17. Those are like my top 5 groups. I would say those are the groups I spend the most money on. Monsta X is, I won't tell you exactly. Well, I don't know. Monsta X, I don't really know exactly because I never truly have like that amount set aside. Like, usually I'm like, plus I do like group orders and stuff too. But ideally I like to have, I don't know. This is such a weird topic because I feel like people love to hate on K-pop YouTubers for spending money on K-pop, but it's in the 4 digits. It really depends, because I used to set aside a lot less than I do now. For Stray Kids, I'll put aside like, I don't know, like 400, 450, I would say is probably a good number. Do I sometimes spend more than that? Yeah, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Everything that I need in life, like my bills are paid, my rent is paid, my tuition is paid. I don't take out loans for school. I really try not to, at least. And then I set aside a certain amount of money for comebacks and whatever. IVE and Twice, I would say I probably set aside like, well, and 17, probably like 200 to 300. Like, it's nothing super crazy. Especially because like for Twice I collect OT9, but you normally only need like 9 albums to do that. And I don't collect really POBs for Twice. And then also I collect OT6 for IVE, but a lot of the cards I end up buying on Mercari Japan. Like, for this upcoming comeback, I have 3 sets ordered and 2 sets of jewel cases. The only reason I have 2 sets of jewel cases is because I bought unboxing albums and then I bought Starship Square POB albums. And I don't know what I'm gonna do about like other POBs, because we'll talk about it later, but I have like 3 sets of POBs. For Wano, I don't set aside nearly as much as I do for Monsta X because there's just simply not as much stuff for him. I would say he's probably about the same as Stray Kids, like 400 to 500. And it's because I know, like, especially his past couple of eras, I know I'm gonna be entering a fan sign. For Monsta X too, like, I know I'm gonna be entering a fan sign. I know that I'm collecting like full everything. For Stray Kids, I collect OT8 album cards and maybe like 1 or 2 OT8 like American POB sets, but I don't collect POBs for everybody like I do for Monsta X and Wano. I don't collect all of the POBs for Chan and Lino. I collect like a decent amount, so it sounds like a lot of money. And those are all just like super rough estimates. Like, some people love to keep track of how much they've spent on K-pop, and I just like feel like that takes the fun out of it. Like, I feel like everything that I want to do in my life and everything that I want to buy, I am able to do. So how much I spend on comebacks is like really not something I'm worried about, because everything else that I want to do in life is like paid for and fine. I don't know if that made sense or that was weird. Talking about money is so weird and it just like makes me super uncomfortable, but I really did want to say that. What are we doing back here? I need Dahyun here, but I feel like I got that Dahyun card recently. I'm just gonna double check while we're here, because that is part of this set. Okay, so we have that Dahyun, I'm missing this Chewy. I don't know where that card is. And this Nyan. And this Dahyun. Where are the rest of my Twice trades? These I haven't looked for on Mercari Japan, but I am going to start looking for them. And then I believe I need to post my trades for this. I need to take a photo to post my trades for this. But yeah, that's really what I wanted to do with Twice today. I don't know what I'm gonna put here, but we will figure it out. All right, so this is the next binder we're gonna work on. This is my Chan and Lino Pop binder for No Easy, Christmas Evil, and Ordinary. So I really didn't collect a lot of Ordinary and Christmas Evil Pobs back when the comebacks happened, but they've been two collections that I've really been wanting to expand upon. But I don't have it like set up to expand upon it, so it just looks kind of like a mess. And I was looking at this binder the other night and I was like, I really hate how this is organized. Like, I really hate how this binder is organized. So we're going to fix it. We're gonna start with Christmas Evil. I really shouldn't be doing this when Stray Kids are like literally about to make a comeback. I still need this Chan Lucky Draw card. I need to buy it. It's just expensive. And then I bought this card recently. Funny story with this is that I traded with a friend and it never arrived, so that's fun. I definitely don't have this card also. I don't know why it's starred. But yeah, I want to finish No Easy just because, I don't know. Can you believe we've had 3 comebacks since No Easy and I'm still not done with this? I just hate Withbands because it's so expensive, and I joined a couple group orders for Withbands and they were just kind of a mess. So anyways, we're gonna work on Christmas Evil. I have Canva templates for them, but I've never like transferred the templates to the binder. And again, I feel like it's gonna really help motivate me to actually do this. So it's not like I'm missing a lot of cards. Like, this is my Lino set, and this is Chan. So I'm really not missing a lot. I know some of these cards are like super expensive. I really want the Lucky Draw cards. I really want Music Plant, which Music Plant is like kind of expensive. Sony Music I don't really care about. Okay, I definitely don't want Sony Music because Chan's card is horizontal. So we're just gonna we're just gonna blur that card out on both templates because I don't want a horizontal card. But I just feel like I don't really know like what I'm collecting, and I also think like physically seeing it is going to help a lot. Also, it's a concept card. I don't know. I think I would just rather do selfies. Yes 24 is probably going to be pretty easy to find. Also, it looks like it's hollow, judging from Chan's photo. You can't really tell from Lino's photo, but I guess it's hollow. So we'll do Yes 24. I want it to be like to match up well. So we have 2, 4. I have Sonara already, so we definitely want Sonara for Chan. And I definitely want these Lucky Draws. I don't really care about this Tower Record card. So we're not going to do Tower Record. I know I said I wanted to collect everything, but now that I'm going through this, I'm like, meh. Also, for the majority of my mini binders, I use the Amifa clear pockets. I get these from Mercari Japan. So, yeah. I wish they would make A5 wide sleeves in this size. It's literally my dream. Literally about to find a manufacturer myself and just make them, because what if you want to store Monster X in A5 wide? I literally, the other night, was watching small business vlogs. I don't even own a small business. It would be, I think it would be fun though. I've always wanted to like design something and sell it, but as we've discussed, I'm not a super artsy girly, but I'm just the kind of person that I'm like, if I want something, like, I'm just gonna make it myself. Like, if I want to do something, I'm gonna figure it out. So that's probably why I'm like, I should do a small business, because then I can create something that doesn't exist, and then I can help other people have access to it. But I don't know what I would do for a small business. I think it would be fun though. I think that might have been too many sleeves, but anyways, so definitely want Music Plant. Hot Tracks, I remember being super expensive. Like, I remember looking for this card and being like, wow, that's an expensive photo card. I actually don't know which one is worse. Should we go look? Let's go look. Let's take a brief intermission here and go look, because I need to figure it out. Any tips on using a K-Addy? Honestly, I used to be super afraid of like the whole concept of a Korean address. I used to think it was like so complicated and scary, but it's really not. It's really super easy. There's a bunch of different Korean proxy services out there now. I personally use Paceable. And I think Paceable is really great. Why is the Aladdin card $22? Really? No. Oh my gosh. Any issue I've ever had with them has been resolved super easily. And so I think it's definitely important to read through the site before you start buying things. I also think it's super helpful to, on shops that you normally use, like for instance, I buy from Starship Square all the time. I use Gmarket to do that. So I have my Korean address saved, so I don't have to enter it every single time. And when I check out, like I was just buying IVE albums the other day, it's just gonna go straight to my Korean address, automatically it's gonna go right there. Korean addresses can be a little complicated, and I found that if you don't enter it correctly, and also like it's easiest to just enter it in Korean. There was one time on Gmarket when I first started, I used the English equivalent of my address, and the seller like wouldn't ship my item. I was buying like Photocard supplies, so I wasn't buying like albums or anything, but they were like, we're not gonna buy it. So I had to switch to like the Korean Gmarket and add my address because it wouldn't let me do it that way on the American Gmarket. Yeah, definitely like reading over the requirements for the Korean address, and because also like for Paceable, everybody's given like their own unique number for their individual mailbox, and if you don't include that in the right spot, then your package is gonna get lost. Yeah, or if you have any friends who live in Korea, like I have a couple friends who live in Korea who send stuff to my Korean address sometimes, and that can be, what is this? To like just tell them to write it in Korean, which I mean, both of my friends were like, yeah, I'm gonna write it in Korean. Just doing it like that. And then also for Paceable, it's just much easier to wait until you have a bunch of stuff. Like I wouldn't get a Korean address if you're like someone who just wants to buy one set of albums, because I don't think the shipping price is really gonna be worth it unless you're planning on buying like a lot. Like say you collect a group like ATs or the Boys, or somebody who has like so many pobs, and you're the kind of person that like either you collect OT or you're doing like a split claim OT. I think Paceable would be really good for that because you can ship like 10 sets of OT8 albums to Paceable and then ship all of those together. That's definitely going to be worth it, as opposed to buying everything individually and shipping it straight to the US individually. But if you're someone who like doesn't buy a ton of things for pobs, or you're not looking to buy a bunch of like Photocard supplies from Korea, that's something else that's super helpful for, is buying like Korean Photocard supplies. But yeah, those are like my two major things. It doesn't cost me any money to have a Korean address. Sometimes I have to pay a fee when I like consolidate things, or I ask them to buy me things. That's a super great option Paceable has, is that I just send them like all the information and they buy it on my behalf. I've done that a couple times, and it's a super easy process. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't use a Korean address if you're just someone who's wanting to buy like one set of albums to come back. Like I definitely think a Korean address is more beneficial, and it's gonna help you save more money if you're someone who's like an OT collector. You collect every single pub from a certain group. Like I used it for my Stray Kids member claim last era, and it was great. Everything showed up at the same time. I paid shipping once. I think shipping was like $4 an album, something like that. It ended up working out to, which I split with like all of my joiners, obviously. There's also the option of them like not shipping albums. There is a fee you have to pay, but there is an option for them to just send inclusions, or just send like the pop sets if that's what you want. So that's really nice as well. I feel like you can save a lot of money doing it that way. I did that for No Limit, where not No Limit, Love era, because a lot of people wanted pop only from one of my Love Goes, and I just ended up shipping the rest of the albums later. I feel like this has been so rambly. We never figured out if Hot Tracks or Aladdin was gonna be or Hot Tracks or Interpark. We never figured that out. Hold on, we gotta figure that out. Why is that $80? Oh my gosh. Why is this card like randomly so expensive? Okay, well maybe we won't do, I really wanted to do that card though. Don't want to pay $63 for that card, so we're taking out Interpark. Somebody asked, do you wish to collect SKZ OT8 for older albums, and any rare item of SKZ you've started to wish recently? Besties, let me tell you, because Stray Kids need to announce a comeback real fast, or I'm just gonna go wild. Just buy random things. I have been thinking about collecting Go Live, which I feel like is a really bad idea. Like I feel like I know a couple of skids YouTubers who collect Go Live OT8, and I feel like they hate their lives. So I don't know, but yeah, I have been thinking about collecting OT8 for a couple of older albums recently, and I need to not, because I know the second I start doing it, Stray Kids are gonna announce a comeback. And I also feel like we're gonna look at my like OT8 binder next for Stray Kids, but I also feel like I am just super behind with Stray Kids right now, even though I'm like literally not. But I think it's because they just have so much stuff. And so is Sonara 1N or 2N? And so I look at other stays like Photocard collections and I just feel like I don't have enough, which is not good. Never compare your collections to other people on the internet, bestie. You don't know what their collection rules are like. I should not have done this in caps. I'm gonna rewrite it. But I feel like I have a lot of collections that are like unfinished, which is going to be the theme of my shopping video I'm filming. I feel like there's a lot of comebacks happening in April and May, and I am behind on finishing some collections. That was another question somebody asked me, is like, do you ever feel pressured to finish a collection? And honestly, the only thing that really pressures me to finish a collection is a comeback announcement, and that's just because I really hate collecting two eras at the same time. Like, I really don't like that I haven't finished these pobs yet. It like really bothers me. Even though collecting is not a race, like you don't need to finish everything right away. But I mean, also Christmas Evil was like so long ago. I would love Stray Kids to do another Christmas album this year. Chan, if you're watching this, I need another Christmas album, because Christmas Evil was like, it's like one of my favorite Stray Kids eras, to be honest. Like, I absolutely adored Christmas Evil, which is the reason I want to collect all the pops. I don't want people to think that I feel like I have to collect all the pops. I want to collect all the pops because I want to collect all the pops. I think I just like have issues with my Stray Kids collection right now, because I feel like I try to collect Stray Kids the way I collect Monsta X, like as thoroughly as I collect Monsta X, but I always prioritize Monsta X. So it means that Stray Kids doesn't get the like same attention. I definitely want to do that with this upcoming comeback, but like also Monsta X might make a comeback at the same time. So oh, I don't know. They're stressing me out. Why is Juhan suddenly blonde? Somebody asked how my cats were doing, and they're doing great. So if you don't know, one of my cats had surgery. Oh, it's probably been about like a month at this point since she had the surgery, but it was definitely a very scary time. But yeah, she's doing great. She's back to her normal self. My other cat's doing great too. She's just vibing. It's so funny because the vet I take my one cat to, she had surgery at the emergency hospital, but for all the follow-ups, we went to like our primary care doctor, right? I used to work there. So I have a bunch of like friends there still. The people I used to work with at the vet clinic I worked at when I was a lot younger are like still some of my best friends. Like, I talk to them all the time. I see them all the time. We hang out all the time, like on the weekends and stuff, which is why I started taking my pets there, because my cats there, because I like really trust the people there. And I think that's really important. They were like, we never see your other cat. And I was like, yeah, because she doesn't have to come in here. My cat had to go into the vet like 3 times following, was it 3 times? 3 times following her vet visit. One of them was just because like she needed her nails done, and my one cat will let me do her nails, my other cat will not, so I need assistance, so I have to bring her into the vet, and my friends help me. Yeah, my one cat never needs to go in for her nails, and Danny has to go in for everything. We had to go in to get her sutures checked. They looked fine, but I was like, I just need a doctor to tell me they look fine. But yeah, she healed really well. She did not like being separated from Winnie. I took this photo and posted it on Twitter, I think it was, of like Danny and Winnie being separated, and Winnie just like sitting on a chair outside of the room we kept Danny in. We kept her in our like spare bedroom. It just being so sad. They're like from the same litter, or at least we think so. I don't know. They were both found like on the streets together with a couple of other kittens, so they just like assumed they're from the same litter. And they were about the same age, or looked about the same age. It was like the first time in both of their lives they'd been separated for so long. Like, we had to keep Danny at the emergency hospital for 2 nights. It's a long story as to why, so I won't get into it, but we had to keep her at the emergency hospital for 2 nights, and I swear to God, Winnie was so sad. She was so sad. Like, I don't mean to laugh about it because she really was so sad about it. But yeah, they're definitely super happy. They like do everything together. Like, I remember feeding Winnie breakfast the morning after we were in the emergency hospital until like 3 in the morning. The next morning I like woke up to feed Winnie breakfast, and because Winnie still needed a breakfast at like 6:30 in the morning, which I was like, you know, we're going back to bed after this, right? And she just was like looking around, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, you're looking for Danny, you're wondering why we didn't come home with her, like, this is the saddest thing. Like, I really wish I could explain to you like that she's okay and she's gonna come home. She just like has to stay at the hospital for a little bit. It's just really funny that my friends were like, you know, we haven't seen Winnie since like she got her last set of vaccines, and I was like, she hasn't needed to come in here, like, knock on wood. Somebody asked, how do you prioritize cards and collections? I really struggle with prioritizing which cards I want. I have a really hard time about this too. I really try to like stick to my rules as far as like prioritizing, because I just want to prioritize everything. And then I also, like I said, I'm a very impulsive person, so I get an idea in my brain and I'm like, let's do it, let's collect my top 3 for 17, and then I'm just like, don't touch that collection forever because I'm working on other things, because I made that decision 2 weeks before a Monsta X comeback. Why did I do that to myself? Like, I knew there was a Monsta X comeback coming, and I knew that I was gonna be trying to get all of the pobs and stuff from that. I think the easiest thing for me is just, like I said, I feel very pressured by like comebacks, and so if it's a group, like for Monsta X, even though I know Monsta X isn't going to make a comeback anytime, well, actually I don't know that, I'm terrified of them always, I really like to try and finish the collections. I think doing my sorting Photocard videos really helped me with that, because every 2 weeks I'm looking at my binders and I'm just like, man, I look at my binders more than every 2 weeks, but I'm always like, oh, I really need like these cards. And a lot of the times while I'm editing those videos, I get distracted and we'll go on Mercari Japan or Neokyo or something and just like look. Like Le Sserafim, for instance, announced a comeback recently for May, which I'm so excited about, by the way. Don't have all of Chaewon's cards finished, and so I went on like a little buying spree for Chaewon fairly recently, but I'm still missing some of her cards because Le Sserafim are just so expensive. But yeah, okay, so that looks good for that. Should we do the same thing for Ordinary? What does Ordinary even look like? See, I don't even know these things. Ordinary, I don't know if I wanted to collect everything. I wasn't as big of a fan of the Ordinary Pobs as I was Christmas Evil. I also feel like I was missing a lot. Actually, Ordinary wasn't super crazy. That Tara's Records card is so pretty. I really wish it wasn't horizontal. That's really annoying. What's this? Nobody knows. I have no idea what that is. It's from a video call. Okay, let's look at this. This is my favorite template maker for Stray Kids, by the way. It's this is their it's with Skids, and they, I feel like, make the cleanest, like most thorough templates. Let's just scroll all the way to the bottom. This is where I find the majority of my templates, by the way, is Twitter. So yeah, it's probably up here. Okay, and then I'll go, here's a little Canva tutorial, and then I'll go to Canva. I will hit uploads, upload file. I will choose the photos I want to upload. And my only complaint about this template maker is that they don't make them Instagram sized. You have to change the color. Thank God they stopped with like the giant Yes 24 things. So I think we're gonna do Make Star and With Drama. This is Lino's With Drama, I believe. Yeah, so this is Lino's With Drama. So we're gonna do Make Star and With Drama together. I had these together because they're the same, but the Make Star and the With Drama cards are the same. So should I write this down? I should write this down. There's so many like far away cards here, I feel like. Oh, that Music Planet card is really pretty. I also feel like Music Planet is really expensive, so. Somebody said, what are your opinions on collect books only having small miscellaneous collections? So if you haven't noticed, I don't use collect books. And the reason I don't use collect books, well, that's a lie. I use collect books for different merch stuff, like Starship loves like the little collect books for like concert merch and fan con merch and whatever. And then I also have one from Stray Kids' like fan kit. And I use my collect book for like fan club cards and things of that sort. I don't know how to show you this without revealing my membership or anything. But yeah, so you can see in my no limit one, like this is my Mon Bébé one. I don't like using them for photo cards. One, because I have a lot of binders, but I just feel like none of my collections would look good in a collect book. I also am afraid of my photo cards bending in collect books because there's only one card there. Like the fan club cards are super like thick. They're like lucky draw materials, so they're like thicker cards. So I don't feel bad about storing those. But yeah, they're not my favorite thing. I mean, I think if you use them, they're super cute, but I've just never been someone who found them super appealing. I like spreads, and you can't do a spread in a collect book. Like, it just doesn't look good, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm never one to tell someone, like, what they can and can't collect. Like, if you want to have a miscellaneous binder, I think that's great. Like, for instance, somebody asked me once when I bought a Blackpink album, like, why I didn't store the cards in my binders, and it's because I know myself, and I know that I would need to either collect, like, Rosé's my Blackpink bias. I would need to collect either all of her photo cards from that album or nothing, or I'd have to sell them. But if I wanted to keep the cards, I just didn't want to store them, so they're still in the album. I wanted the album. I love Blackpink's music. I thought the album was so good. But I just like know myself, and I don't know how to do anything casually. So a lot of people have asked like if I want to collect anybody new or if I plan on dropping anybody. I don't plan on collecting any new groups. Well, that's kind of a lie. I just put the jewel cases away, but I recently bought a couple of Gravity jewel cases, and I love Minnie's concept from the most recent like Gravity album. And so I thought about getting like, I double bias in Gravity. I bias Alan and Minnie. And so I thought about getting like a couple of cute Minnie photo cards from that concept, and then just getting like Alan's equivalents and just doing like maybe 1 or 2 pages in like a mini binder, just like in the back of a mini binder somewhere, probably in my Monster X Japanese binder. But I don't want to pick up Gravity, just because I know myself, and so I need to like put a limit on it in my brain. But I think it would be really cute to just like have a couple photo cards. I don't think Gravity is a super expensive group either. I think Minnie can be kind of expensive. He's one of the more popular members. He was my X1 bias. So yeah, I love him. And I did collect him at one point when I collected X1, right? But yeah, so that is the only thing I'm considering. A lot of people asked if I'm planning on dropping anyone. I am very happy with who I collect currently and what I collect, so I don't have any plans to drop anyone or anything. Like, I'm really happy with what I'm collecting currently. I don't feel like I can feel it when I'm getting tired of a collection. I've been doing this so long at this point that if it's not fun for me, like, I'm not going to continue. Tower records would be pretty cheap, so they'd be pretty easy to find. They look like they're normal photo card size, so they would fit. So maybe we'll do Tower records. That's like the thing with collecting Stray Kids, is if you can get in like a group order or a member claim or something during pre-orders, like you're pretty much done when the album gets released. I really do like that about Stray Kids. Like, lucky draws are one thing. I mean, lucky draws are kind of a pain, honestly, but like, I don't love collecting lucky draws for Stray Kids. But they're usually really cute, so I do. But also, like, I don't have all the lucky draws from the Ordinary. I want to get all of the ones from Maxident, but I don't really care about those, like, pre-order ones that got released that were at, like, the concert. I just cannot be bothered with the prices for those, and I'm okay with that, because while it would be super cool to have them, I don't feel like spending that much money on them. So yeah, okay, I think this is better now. I feel better about this, and I think this will help make me a little more motivated to do this. So yeah, let's switch it. Do I want to look at my OT8 binder? I want to look at my OT8 binder just for a second. So when I got back from tour, I was like, I want to finish Lino. Oh, I've already done this. I thought I hadn't done this yet, but anyways, I was going to do this, but I've already done that. Should we mark then which ones we have coming? Let's do that. Sometimes I use these to mark. Sometimes I just remember. It really just depends on how I'm feeling. But yeah, I was like, I really want to finish my Lino collection because I just been like putting it off. Some of his older cards are really expensive. So yeah, this is from, oh, this is Miro. Should be using, oh yeah, there. Should be using this. Let's do a little purple circle just to mark what's coming. From Levanter, I do not have Lino's purple card, that equivalent. And then, oh man, this we're missing a lot. And here's me wanting to do OT8 Go Live, and I don't even have like all of Lino's Go Live cards. So, and then in life, the only thing I'm missing are like the larger items, which I want just because I own them for Chen. So like these two things, and then also I don't even know if I own that for Chen yet, but I own it for Jisung. Oh, I don't have large inclusions in here anymore, so I can't look, I don't think, but I do have that for Yellowwood. Oh no, maybe I do have it in here. Oh yeah, I have it for Jisung. I don't have it for Chen or Lino though. Okay, so I just got a phone call. So it cut off the video for a second, but did I go shopping during said phone call? I might have. Because I was trying to figure out exactly what cards I still needed for Lino, but I figured it out. So I need his limited edition card, which is this equivalent of Chen, and it's really expensive. It's like $150 was the cheapest I was able to find it for. Did not buy that one, so we still need this one. And then the other two were a little cheaper. The other black back photo card from this set, so the equivalent of this card, I was able to find like a normal photo card price, which somebody asked. It was like $7, which is not bad from Akari Japan. Like, I'll take it, especially because it's an older album, and I feel like a lot of people don't buy the older Skids albums. This coming now. And then I also was able to find the white back photo card. It was a little more expensive than like the black back photo card, but not as expensive as the $150 card. So I went ahead and bought that one too. So the only card I'm missing is the limited edition card. That's gonna have to be something that I like am going in to make a transaction for that card. I would really love not to spend $150 on it, but I believe it is the it has like a hollow back, so you can see like Chan's here. I don't even remember how I got Chan's. I might have traded because I collected Jisung, and I think I might have owned this for Jisung at one point, but yeah. But if you ever see anyone selling it for like a better price than $150, hit your girl up. I would love to trade with you. So that's that, and now I have like proper fillers for everything in here, and that's pretty much everything I wanted to do in this binder. Like, I don't really have anything to do in this binder, to be honest, because it's pretty much done until the next comeback. So yeah, I don't know if I guess it depends what the next comeback comes with, because I feel pretty comfortable with how big, like how thick this binder is right now. So I probably will just end up putting it in my other Stray Kids binder. But yeah, we're done with this today. We are almost done. There is one more binder I wanted to look at today, and it's my IVE binder. So this binder I felt has, oh, it's upside down. But yeah, this binder I felt is a little not as organized as it could be recently. And so I wanted to fix that. And I also wanted to put in some pages for the new comeback. So I think I need 2 more of these. I'm gonna put in 2 more or 3 more because I want to collect a full set of Kpops. I have to make a lot of fillers for this, so let me just do that off camera real quick and we'll come back. Okay, so that just took me so long, oh my gosh, but let's go through and put all of the sleeves away. This video is super long, so we're gonna kind of go through this quickly. Oh, somebody said best advice for someone wanting to start being a GOM. So I feel like I have a lot to say about this. One, the biggest mistake I made when I started being a GOM was not, and this is hard to know like before you start, is kind of knowing what my limit is. But yeah, so kind of knowing what your limit is, and this can definitely change. Like I feel like now that I really have a system down, I can handle much larger group orders than I used to. But when I was first starting out, my first ever group order I did was for Wano's debut album, and it was a group order that had like 140 albums in it, which for me at the time was like huge. And I don't remember if I sorted or not for that. I would have to go back and look, because did I do a video about it? I definitely did a video like being like, oh my gosh, I bought 140 albums to get into Wano's fan sign, and like talked about the fan sign in that video. But did I do a video of the group order? I don't think so. I think my first group order video was Stray Kids. And I've had a lot of comments on that video recently of people being like, oh my gosh, I missed these. I like want you to do more group order vlogs. And like I am planning on doing one. I have a group order open right now for, I almost said NCT, for 17's comeback. I'm doing the Weverse version. I opened a group order for that. So yeah, definitely check that out if you haven't already. But I opened for that group order and it got to be like 300 some albums. And if you don't know anything about No Easy, there was a lot of random inclusions. So it was a lot of inclusions to sort. And when I tell you it took me days, and I was not prepared for it to take me days, it took me days to open the albums. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like I always like joke with my friends and I'm like, that the group order was so much because it was so much. Like it was so much for me to do, and with everything I was doing at the time, it was too much. And like it was fine because everybody got their stuff. I got everything sent out, but I definitely learned a lot during that group order about being a GOM and how much I could handle. And I went and I switched some things up because I ended up opening up for, I think it was No Limit for Monsta X that happened after that. And I was like, yeah. My second piece of advice is to be organized. The best group orders I have ever done, the most successful group orders in my opinion that I have ever done, I have had freebies ready, I have had cards ready, I've had all the supplies ready when the albums arrive, because I've also made the mistake before back when I was still learning of being like, because if you have, you know the amount of albums you have coming, right? Or like Photocard, so you're doing a Photocard group order, have all of that supplies. If you want to make like freebies, you want to do like different packaging, special packaging, have that ready when the albums arrive, so that as soon as you're done sorting, you don't have to worry about all that stuff. I can't even tell you, like when I was first starting and I would run out of like cards to put photo cards in, and I was just like, and I don't know if a lot of people do group order vlogs on YouTube. I honestly have never seen other group order vlogs, but I do suggest like watching group order vlogs if there are any out there. I have some. I'll go ahead and link them up above. But I think just understanding the whole, like, every time I do a group order, I spend hours doing it. Let me explain this real quick before we continue. But basically, for this, I have Eugen's entire set, and then I have Liz's e-card and her ID, and I have Eugen's ID. So these are done. I just shipped out that Neokyo package earlier today, so it'll be coming. but I do need to get the rest of Liz's cards and then full sets for Ray, Wonyoung, and Liso. So kind of stressful, but hopefully we can get that done. So yeah, and then this is, I'm not gonna worry about this. I'm not gonna worry about this today. For the new album, I'm going to do this pretty quickly, like just talking through my plans, just because there really isn't anything crazy going on this time around. Very typical IVE at this point. So I'll go ahead and throw up some stuff on the screen, but basically there's 3 normal album versions again, and there's the jewel cases. Each member has 4 album cards, and then they have a couple of larger inclusions, which I'm not gonna set up today because I've been planning to get another binder for IVE large inclusions. I'm waiting to transfer Kihyun, his solo stuff, out of that binder and then use that binder for IVE large inclusions. But I need my Kihyun binder to come in the mail. So that's why that's not happened yet. But I think for IVE's next comeback, I'm going to do that. And I will hopefully have my Kihyun binder by the next time, because I'm getting some IVE albums this week, hopefully my unboxing albums. And then I ordered 2 sets of photo books and 1 set of jewel cases from Starship Square. And so I'm getting 3, technically 2 sets of POBs, but 1 set has 12 photo cards in it. So we're setting up for that. They basically took the pop-out cards and popped them out for us. We're so grateful for that. But yeah, there's nothing crazy going on for IVE, so I'm just gonna start putting away all of the cards. I'm gonna do version 1, 2, and 3, and then the jewel case, and then I labeled them Starship Square 1, 2, and then Starship Square jewel case. Being organized and knowing your limits is definitely super helpful when just starting out being a GOM. I think starting with like a small photo card, or like a member claim, say you bias, like take IVE for example, you bias Yujin and you want to collect her POB from Soundwave. Open for Soundwave, find 5 more people to claim the other 5 members, and just do that. Do that, and then it'll give you an idea of kind of what you're getting yourself into, what you're gonna have to do to stay organized. I would never, ever, ever tell anyone to have a 140 album group order as their first group order like I did. That was, no. No, unless you have like helped somebody with a group order before, you've like co-ran a group order with someone before, which I don't even know how you would do that. I guess like if you have a friend who lives in the same town as you who ran a group order and you helped them like package and organize and everything. But yeah, I would never go into being like, hey, I want to enter for this fan sign. If you have a group order, like a comeback coming up, and you're like, man, I really want to enter for a fan sign for this upcoming like album. Also, I didn't have enough cat sticky notes, so we did half cat, half pig. I need to order more of these. I don't know. But anyways, I would say like, who just had a comeback? ATs. ATs just had a comeback, and we know that ATs turn around and have comebacks super quickly, right? So if you want to enter for an ATs fan sign next era, start now, open for something. If you see like a set on Macari or something of like an entire OT8 set, open a claim for it and kind of get in the habit of like, 1, building trust and building up your proofs, because that's a super easy way to build up proofs, that will help people like be more willing to join your group order because they'll see that you have group order proofs. I make my group order proof folder and my normal proof folder different on my Instagram for a reason. I think that group order proof is very different than trading and selling proof, in my personal opinion. So yeah, that's my advice if you want to start being a GOM. And definitely like look at other people's supplies. If you've ever joined group orders before, kind of take note of how people package things, how they communicated with you. Did you like I've tried to do it through email and Instagram and Twitter group chats. I personally love the group chat option. I think it's so much easier to talk to people that way. Not everybody looks at their email all the time, but people are always looking at Instagram. So that's how I prefer to do things, using Gomdrop versus using Google Forms. I recently learned that I don't like Gomdrop. I really don't like Gomdrop, and I really don't want to use Gomdrop for my next goes, so I'm using my Google Forms. But even when I did my, like, every group order, I feel like I'm changing my Google form just a little bit, because every time I'm like, man, it would have been really helpful if I had done this. Like I had an issue a couple group orders ago, so not this past one, but the one before, where I asked people to leave me their Instagram or Twitter handle in my form, and people would just write their username and not indicate if it's Instagram or Twitter, which is really hard when you're trying to add 100 people to a group chat and you can't figure out if their username is Instagram or Twitter, because they didn't read and didn't write Instagram or Twitter. So now you have to like go through Instagram and Twitter and figure out, sometimes people have the same username on both accounts, and you're just like, I didn't know if you wanted to join Instagram or Twitter because you didn't write that. So this time I made a required post that made you choose if the username you gave me above was Instagram or Twitter. And it's made a world of difference. I like was looking at my Google Sheets yesterday, and I was like, this is literally the smartest thing ever. Like, I'm so glad I did this. And I tend to do that every single comeback, so my forms change a little bit every comeback. So just like, it's always going to be a learning experience. I don't know anybody who doesn't like change things a little bit every single era, unless you've perfected every single thing. Like, great for you, but I've definitely found that it does get a little easier like every time I do a group order. And I always tell people, like, I did that 300 album group order for Stray Kids, and it was like it was so painful. But then I did the same thing for Monsta X a couple months later, and I learned from the experience and was able to be much more efficient and package things a lot better and learn kind of what works best for me. So yeah, always going to be a learning experience. So yeah, always start small. Definitely would start with like a Photocard member claim or something and work your way up. Don't start with 140 albums. Somebody said, how do you keep track of Pops and Lucky Draw announcements? Honestly, like, IVE is a really good example of this. I am pretty bad if it's not Monsta X. Even like Wano last era, there were some cards that were on a template, and I was like, when did these even get announced? My best advice for that is to either follow template makers, though that's not always the best way, just because sometimes they don't update for a while and you'll miss the purchase period, or to follow like all of the classic Hobbs stores like With Mew, Soundwave, a Hello 82 if your group's a Hello 82 kind of group, like all of the pages like that, or following the main account and having notifications on, because 99% of the time, if With Mew announces a fan sign, the main account's going to retweet it. And with Monsta X and like, I think Stray Kids, well, I don't know, has Stray Kids had a comeback since they started using Bubble Community? I don't think so, but I would assume for like fan signs, they'll upload a notice there. So if your group is a group you have like Fan Cafe or Weverse or whatever equivalent to, they'll probably upload it there as well. So it's a good way to keep track of fan sign announcements. That's how I do it. And also like being mutuals, especially for Monsta X, with so many people who collect the way I collect and like do fan signs and stuff. They'll be in my DMs like, oh my gosh, did you see the new like With Mew fan sign? I try for Monsta X, and I can do this for Stray Kids' upcoming comeback as well, to like retweet the posts so other people can see them on my timeline if you follow me on Twitter. Instagram's not going to be a great way to learn about that, just because I don't feel like anybody posts about fan signs on Instagram unless they're posting group orders, like people are posting group orders. But yeah, that's how I keep track of all the Pops and Lucky Draws. Is I follow pretty much everything I can follow, every store I can follow, and I follow a bunch of people who do fan signs and I follow the main account, and I always have Monsta X's or like Stray Kids Monsta X 17. I have their notifications on twice to like keep track of what's going on, especially during comeback period. I get it if you don't want to have notice on all the time because it can get to be a lot, but at least during comeback time, during like the 2-3 week period, unless you're ATs and you do fan signs for months, I feel like ATs is always doing fan signs, and every once in a while I'll see a fan sign announcement and be like, they're still doing fan signs, like, are they okay? Not to call out ATs, but I just think it's really funny, and I have a lot of mutuals who are 18-y, so I just think it's funny. Somebody said updated light stick collection video. I do plan on filming one. I got my candy bong recently, my candy bong infinity in the mail, and I plan to upload a new light stick video because I feel like I've gotten a lot of light sticks recently. I did buy 17's version 3. It was sold out on Weavers, so I got it from Light Up K, and they haven't shipped it yet. They said they would ship it in April, which I'm honestly not worried about. I just like wanted to have a light stick before the concert. Like, you can definitely get light sticks at concerts, but I like to decorate mine. Like, I'm gonna decorate my NCT one later today. I'm really excited about it because I've never actually used my NCT light stick. I bought it the day I saw Super M, and I never used it because I was gonna bring it to Super M, and then I ended up using my Super M light stick instead. But yeah, I'm really excited to do that. So yeah, this is the setup for IVE's upcoming comeback. I'm hoping they do some sort of like either lucky draw or holo cards at some point this era, and then I'm gonna try to collect one more pop set. And then I also have this empty page back here because I think I'm gonna try and collect some more Kpop. Been her Starship Square cards for the past couple of eras, and I always try to do MMT, but we'll see what I do this time. But I definitely want to try and get some of her Pops this era because she looks so cute. But yeah, I'm super excited for IVE's comeback. The day you're seeing this is the day before the comeback. They released a teaser of I Am this morning, and it sounds so good. So that is it for this video. This video has been very, very long. This video has been very, very long, but I do hope you enjoyed if you watched all the way through to the end. And I hope you enjoyed just hanging out with me as we do some binder work today. I feel like we got a lot done, but I definitely feel like there's a lot more to do. So if you enjoyed this kind of video, let me know in the comment section down below. We can definitely do more of them. But yeah, I just needed something chill today to work on, even though I feel like we did a lot of work, so it wasn't that chill. And I've been filming for like 2.5 hours. But yeah, I gotta go pack for NCT Dream now, and I've got to edit this video so I can post it for you guys tomorrow. So yes, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.